Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lieutenant Retired Ralph Morrison. It gives me great pleasure in introducing retired Lieutenant Robert Lewis, who was my mentor and who gave me great inspiration in becoming what I am today. Lieutenant Robert Lewis.
Thank you, Ralph. I appreciate that. I say Lieutenant Ralph. Thank you for doing that introduction. And I'd like to introduce Lieutenant Ralph Morrison, who was one of the firemen that came in later and really helped me out a lot. Uh, he was, when he first came here, he was kind of timid guy. He came into the station, but he was very smart. And we used to sit down and talk about different stuff. In the meantime, I'd like to give recognition to some of the other black firemen that came in, like Reed, not Teddy Reed, but David Reese. Uh, what's the other guy name? There was
Aaron Richardson.
Aaron Richardson, uh,
Teddy Reed.
Teddy Reed. There was the Chief Fox.
Chief Fox.
Yeah, and
Bernard Jethro.
Bernard Jeffro,
James Mincy.
Mincy,
Kevin
Hare,
Bill
and
Smith.
Bill Smith.
Charles Williams.
Charles Williams, yeah, Charles Williams, can't forget him. Those are guys that came in after me, and they looked up to me, and I looked up to them because they gave me a lot of inspiration. And especially Ralph. When Ralph came over here to this station here, I was the only black guy over here, and we had a 5-man crew. But they weren't very acceptable to Ralph. As when I came in, they wasn't acceptable for me either. A lot of stuff that went on that what I did, I tried to push it aside. That's why I've forgotten about a lot of stuff that went on within the fire department during that time. Because the only way I knew I could make it was not to get in with them and not to laugh at all their jokes, but throw it away and be yourself.
And that's the thing I like about Robert, because Robert is very instrumental in helping to promote the black firefighter within the county. And when Robert and I had a lot of discussions back in the early days, I always wondered why, if an individual would give his life for the country, why it was so difficult for him to get employment to take care of his family. And after learning Robert's story, how he had served in the service, I thought it would be a no-brainer to hire him as the first black firefighter, the first qualified firefighter in general with the qualifications back then. But I learned that Robert was able to overcome a lot of those adversities and pass it on to me, and I was able to go on and be successful. I was the second engineer firefighter and one of the first black paramedic firefighters, and all because of Robert Lewis, including myself, was Tony Dudley. And
yeah, I forgot about Dudley.
I mentioned Dudley for
yeah.
you.
Okay, yeah.
I know.
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah. Yeah, but Robert is a real inspiration to the county and to the city. And I'm surprised that it took so long for our community to recognize him as being such.
Good morning. I'm Darrell Drummond. I'm with the Council on Aging of St. Lucie County, President CEO, and I've been asked to say a few things with regard to Robert Lewis, who used to be a driver with Community Transit for our organization. Robert was with us for many years and was an excellent driver for our fixed route service. One of the things that we remember very clearly with regard to him is that he was always very dedicated. The passengers all enjoyed the fact that he was working with them and providing great service. And of course, now one of the main things is that this was chapter 2 for Robert. His first chapter, of course, was as a firefighter. He was one of the first African American firefighters for St. Lucie County. And as a result of his dedication and long service and admirable responsibilities and service. They named a station on Avenue D after him. So we feel we were very, very fortunate to have him as an employee, and we continue to feel that he represents very clearly one of the best things that's going on here in St. Lucie County as it relates to individuals who give back to their community.
In front of a station that was dedicated to you. Did you ever thought that you would have a station dedicated in your honor?
Not in my slightest memories. I always thought that this would be just something that had happened to me in my life. But I'd like to tell you one thing too, since you mentioned that. This wasn't the first marquee that they gave me. You know, if you were here then,
Yeah.
there was a dog named Queen. They buried him right under this
Flagpole.
flagpole. And guess where they put my first plaque?
On top of the flagpole?
Right there by Queen. And it was a headstone.
Yeah.
And I started raising heck about it. And they decided to move it.
Yeah.
Because it didn't really look right. Otherwise, did you know before they built this station, where I really started being a firefighter at? Right next door, which is Cannon building there now.
Yeah.
That was the old fire station back in the day.
Yeah. And it's a good thing about that you was able to have a station named after you, and it's well deserving. And hopefully the young men in the black community can look at it, have a chance to come by and visit, and want to set their sights on becoming another firefighter, including women, not just men alone, but women also. Because we have also a black female firefighter by the name of Latoya. And she's one of the first black firefighter paramedics in St. Lucie County.
Well, Ralph, I want to thank you for being such a good friend and for all these years. I'm glad to see that you got a chance to retire also.
Okay.
Because we had a hard time coming up.
Yes.
Now I'll elaborate on that more at another time.
Okay. Well, we meet, Rob. You take care of yourself, and God bless you, and you have done the community proud.
Well, I thank you. I'd like to thank you all for coming out to this courageous and very nice celebration put on by the St. Lucie Avenue D Main Street Committee. And I'd like to pay recognition to my fellow members that's here to be recognized, like my brother Sammy Gaines, my brother Duke Nelson, and I've been knowing these guys for a long time, almost as long as I've been in Fort Pierce. And I'd like to thank all of the firemen, the white and the black, that welcomed me, and those ones that didn't welcome me into the fire department. If I had to do it again, I'd probably do the same thing. But there were some good times, there were some bad times. But I chose to remember the good times. Because there was a lot of bad times that sometimes I couldn't sleep at night. Sometimes they had me crying in the middle of the night, trying to figure out what the hell is going wrong. Figure out what's going wrong. But I survived, and now I'm glad that there is a committee that's honoring all of the black people that have served in the community, and I hope that in the future there will be a lot more.
you.